Hi there, and welcome back. Good morning, everyone. I am back out here this morning. The sun is where it needs to be. It is shade over here, and so you can now see what I'm doing in this space. I am going to go ahead and finish planting up the salvia that I have and this echinacea right here. This echinacea gets to be about 36 inches tall. This particular echinacea is called Sunseeker's Orange. It's more like a dusty pink sunset color. I mean, it does have orange in it, but it's more of that dusty pink. It's real pretty. It's real pretty. It's not really orange as I would consider orange to be. And then this salvia here is a fuchsia color. And this is a proven winner's rockin' fuchsia. And it gets 36 inches tall and about the same width as well. And anyway, my husband had mentioned wanting to see more color over here, so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm sitting it up a little high in the hole, and that's because I'm going to come back with the mulch. I also have some organic, this isn't mulch, this is compost, and some peat moss and some other organic material, hummus. And so I'm going to put that around the top of the planting site. This is my plant food. And this is the biotone. Now the salvia gets wider than the echinacea does. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that planter again further back. I'm going to pull out that liriope that's underneath it. You cannot bite my phone, mosquito. Anyway, I'm going to move that planter further back and then move the salvia further in where the pot is. But I have to remove the liriope that's underneath that pot real quick. And look, I could spend hours out here removing this liriope. I find it very satisfying to do, and I could be out here for hours. It's one of those tasks that it seems like it would just be cumbersome or just annoying to do, but I actually find great pleasure in it. I detest this stuff. This variety, because it's the old-fashioned variety, so it really does spread quickly. Now, if you want ground cover and you don't want a lot of weeds, this is great for that. I just don't want that ground cover here. And I have this in the front yard, and I line my sidewalk garden area with it to, separate define the flower bed from the lawn. But even though I did that, I find that I'm not liking it. So I'm going to undo all that, and I'm going to find a different way of creating a separation. All right, so you need to get all these little white things out, because they will just grow back. They will just grow another plant. Brenner's Rockin' Fuchsia, full to part sun, 24 to 36 inches tall. And this is perennial, of course. And it's good in zones. Well, this says 9B to 11B. Missed that. Most of the time, salvia lives in my area and does not pass in the freeze. But this one might be a whole different variety. I thought this was a perennial in my area. Well, we'll have to watch it. I'll have to make a little note in my calendar to come pull it up out of the ground and try to overwinter it. Or I'll just put it here where it gets full sun in the winter, because this is a full sun area in the winter time. It does stay nice and warm, a little microclimate probably, so it might be okay, but we'll see. We'll have to figure that out when the time comes. Okay, I'm going to go get my water so I can water this in. All right, let me go get some mulch. Cue the choo-choo train every morning. Uh-oh, am I stepping on my plant? I think I was stepping on my sedum. Okay, that is my pine mulch from my pine mulch pile that I have, and I will come back and finish up mulching it. I've got some other plants. I'm going to put a hibiscus. I believe I'm going to put a hibiscus in here. I think I'm going to put it probably right here in front, because the hibiscus I have doesn't get very tall, but it does like moisture, so I think I'm going to put it right there, right in front, right there in that hole. Okay, change of plans. The sun is starting to come out. So I'm going to put the hibiscus back there behind the salvia. But I'm going to move the camera. Oh, I hope that wasn't my asparagus. I have a spot in my new garden for it. I just need it to get enough sunlight and food for its energy so it can come back next year when I dig it up. I was told by someone that you can't transplant it, and then I saw someone on YouTube did it, and I'm thinking, well, if they can, I can. Sure I can. So I'm going to try. And then if it dies, it dies. I'll just wait 3 more years for the next batch. Because this is the first year that it's produced for me. Wow, this is really hard to get up, so I'm thinking that the asparagus is not far from this, because normally this stuff comes up pretty easily. Yeah, I keep, it's got to be the asparagus. I probably shouldn't throw that out. I should probably just put that back in the ground. Okay, I'm done digging my hole. A couple things I want to note is that first, there is my sprinkler pipe right here, and there is also a wire of some sort right there. Sometimes I get confused because I see like roots. Where's one? Anyway, there was an old root that was dark, and I always think, oh, is that a wire? But it's not a wire. Anyway, what I'm going to do, because this is that's a rock. Because this is not a perennial, this is an annual according to the tag, I'm going to just put it in the ground in its pot. So basically, let me cover that up. Basically, I am just, let me get this as flat as I can real quick. I'm just going to plop it right down in the ground. Now look, it's not sitting up all that high. It's probably like an inch. Well, let's see. What is that? Yeah, about an inch, because the soil is here. So when I backfill it, it'll just be the rim that's poking up. So I'm going to keep removing this liriope from around it so that I can put mulch over here. And then I'll show you the end product. But this is so I can take it right back out of the ground and just, dig up the container. And it should be much easier and better for the plant, actually. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I finally got a lot cleared from around it, and now I've got the pot in the ground, and I am just going to put this soil back into the hole. And I made sure that the pot is sitting flat to the soil, that way its roots can find outside of the pot. Oops, that needs to go in there. And that way it can stay well watered and moist and find the moisture down below. When I pull it up, the roots that come out the bottom will probably be hurt, but I will keep the roots that are within the pot safe, and so I'll be able to overwinter it. I do know there's a lady in town who overwinters hers, and she does. Now she has them in pots planted around her yard with drip irrigation that goes into them. But I don't have drip irrigation yet, and I've noticed that this hibiscus wants to wilt every single day, and so it's causing me to have to water it too often. So that's why it's going in the ground. Besides, I need color over here. And as I'm filling it in, I'm also rubbing the soil to find any leftover pieces of that liriope. Monkey grass, also known as monkey grass, for some of you that don't call it liriope. Okay, I think that's good for now. I need to water it in because I'm sure that it's going to sink. And so this is a First Lady Hollywood hibiscus. So First Lady, and it blooms in the spring until frost. Gets 4 to 5 feet tall when planted in the landscape. It needs a lot of water. So keep it moist but not saturated. Full sun, which it gets full sun over here. We're about to be in full sun, and it's only, let's see, did my watch die? Oh no, 8:41 in the morning. So where we were planting, where I planted the salvia, it's already getting in the sun. So anyway, I like this one because it has a nice pretty pink peachy color to it, and I love that color. That is definitely my color. I love it. I'm gonna get this little piece of liriope real quick. Okay, there it is. It's in the ground. Let me show you from the front. Sun's coming up. See if we can get it to where you can't see the sun. Yeah, so see, you can barely tell that it's in a pot in the ground. And so again, it'll make it a lot easier when I go to dig it up. Also, once I have the mulch around it, I don't even think you'll see the pot at all. So let me go get the mulch and I'll show you that. Okay, that's it with the mulch around it. Again, once it fills in a little bit more, you won't even see that. And I could put it even a little higher, but I don't think it's necessary. So that should get a little taller. So there we go. We have our First Lady hibiscus there. We got our rockin' fuchsia salvia. Both of those are annuals. So I will make a note in my phone, in my calendar. And then we planted the echinacea. And as you can see, the sun is starting to come into this area quite bright. So I've got to clean up this mess. I'm watering the garden area, and then I will go out there and keep working on removing the grass that's growing around my flower bed. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Well, I came back out here to work on this little area, removing some more of the liriope. Let me kind of get to the front. So there's the hibiscus, and this is an amsonia blue star, and you plant them in their little pots because they're compostable. So that's what I'm going to do. It gets about 3 feet wide, 2.5 feet to 3 feet wide. So I have it spaced decently from the hibiscus. Again, the hibiscus is not a perennial, so it's in its pot. It will come up out of the ground. So I'm going to put some biotone in there, and there is a sprinkler that gets this area. It does need adequate moisture, and this area does get moisture. For some reason, it's just super dry over here, but that'll change the more that I end up watering with the sprinkling system. So anyway, I'm going to get that in the ground and get it planted, and then move on to the next. Now I have this echinacea that I moved from my garden area because it was kind of in the way of the garden beds. And I think, so I have that echinacea right there that I just planted. And then I have the fuchsia salvia right there. And since this is that pink, I'm thinking I'm gonna put it over here because it blooms in the summer. Now this does get full afternoon sun. So right now it's barely 10 o'clock in the morning, and you can already see it's getting dappled sun. But then as the sun gets higher in the sky, this will be full sun. So I'm going to put this here. That's an annual. That's the I think that's yellow Joseph's coat. Anyway, it's an annual. It won't survive. You see it has those little bitty flowers. They're not very significant. You just grow them for the foliage. Anyway, but I'm going to put this echinacea right here. So I planted it up high. You can see where the crown is. And so I planted it up high, and that's so I can come back with the mulch. But this area, and I will say, the one negative about this area is that when we had all those heavy rains, and it rained for days and days and days, this little area was underwater. That's why I've got a ton of weeds growing. So this area was kind of underwater for like a couple days, and we're not talking like a foot of water. We're talking like, maybe an inch of water. And so this area did hold some water, but I think that it'll be okay. I did plant it up high, and again, that was really unusual weather. And if we were to have weather like that again, I would probably just dig it up to save it. But anyway, I'm going to water that in now and then move on to the next thing. Boy, I'm being pretty productive today. As always, y'all, I really enjoyed our time together in the garden. If you liked what you saw today, hit that like button and subscribe so that you can be notified of any future videos.